a lot of people are calling Snoop Dogg a hypocrite.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigger gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first? Osby's the one that performs for himself.
Now, this was a couple years ago, so he technically wasn't the first one to perform for Donald Trump, but at least, like, back up what you were saying a couple years ago, or at least let us know why all of a sudden you changed your mind on it. Now, I don't blame him because he probably got paid a fat bag to DJ at this event, and that's most likely gonna be his response to the situation, saying like, man, they paid me so and so $1 million to DJ for these white folks for 30 minutes. Of course I was gonna take the bag. Which, sure, but it doesn't look too good when Elon Musk even jumps in and says the vibe shift is real with a laughing emoji. Now, even the insufferable ladies over at The View had something to say about the situation, questioning why Snoop Dogg was doing this to begin with, which is bad in itself because The View sucks. Like, they suck.
If you spoke up against Trump January 7th, 2021, but you were there now applauding him like a trained SEAL, Donald Trump has not changed. You've changed. Yeah.
Getting called a trained SEAL is crazy to me, but this is how these people treat you if you don't agree with them. Personally, I would have to question your intelligence if your political opinion is based off what Snoop Dogg agrees on, but I think it's very funny that some people look at it like, oh, well, Snoop Dogg's not rocking with him, YG's not rocking with him, we shouldn't rock with him.
The black community was not fucking with Trump, you know what I'm saying? But when that PPP and all that came out, black people forgave him.
So it confuses a lot of people when these celebrities say something and then they get a fat check, turn around, and end up performing for the person they say they hated. And to make matters worse, we got Elon looking like he's throwing up a goddamn salute. Which got so bad that the ADL had to step in and say like, let him be, he's weird. Which I wholeheartedly agree with. I think Elon is just a very awkward person. Every time I see him speak at anything, I want to crawl out of my skin out of like secondhand embarrassment.
That the alien, there's no like aliens visited, like.
But we kind of got to sit back and analyze the big shift that's happened over the years. Back in 2016, you couldn't wear a Trump hat without being stoned to death. And now it's like, oh, okay, well, he's not that bad, guys. He won twice.
They're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be.
Which makes a lot of celebrities look dumb because now they got to go back on their word since a lot of their audience no longer feels the same way they do anymore. So it's kind of like, damn, this is awkward.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
And honestly, I can't blame Snoop Dogg, especially because he's not the only rapper to feel this way. I mean, the man has freed a lot of rappers who were in jail. Not that him freeing them should make you like him, especially because people are saying that that's the reason why he did it to begin with, to have the people be like, hey, well, he freed our favorite rappers, we should definitely like him. But Kodak Black is like, yo, this is my president, I would die for him because he freed me from a situation I probably would be in jail for still.
Even though he probably don't need it. If he needed $1 million, would you give him $1 million?
Of course, nigga.
And the whole ASAP Rocky situation was pretty crazy too.
I have been called by so many people asking me to help ASAP Rocky. Actually, the one who knew about ASAP Rocky was our first lady, right? And she was telling me about, can you help ASAP Rocky?
Especially with Donald Trump's viral tweet where he said, it was a rocky week, get home ASAP, which is hilarious for him to even tweet. And speaking of ASAP Rocky, he's currently again in legal trouble after allegedly firing a gun at a former friend and facing maybe around 24 years after he just refused a plea deal. So we have yet to see what's going to go on with that situation.
Is accused of firing a gun at a former friend outside a Hollywood hotel in 2021. He has pleaded not guilty, and his lawyer says Mayers is looking forward to clearing his name. If convicted, Mayers could get a maximum sentence of 24 years in prison.
But you kind of got to give it to the man. I mean, he's really trying to get the entire culture to back him up. He's trying to change the perception that everybody's been having about him for the past couple of years, and it's somewhat working. I mean, we have a lot of people like Lil Pump, or as Trump calls him, Lil Pimp, come out and support him. Not that it matters in any way, shape, or form, but it's a thing.
And speaking of sound, music, and other things, one of the big superstars of the world little pimp.
I also find it hilarious that Rick Ross is one of the people that went with Snoop Dogg, because if you don't remember, Rick Ross was one of the people who said that Drake was a white boy.
White boy, BBL Drizzy, I got a question. I don't need you for a remix, white boy.
But I don't see Drake over at Trump's rally. Now, Nelly also attended this event and said, "This is not a campaign trial. This is not anything that I feel like I'm influencing people to sway how they feel, but it's more about the respect and the honor of being invited for what I like to call the greatest country on the planet." He then said, regardless of the differences we have, it's all about coming together and being positive. He also said it's an honor for him to perform for the President of the United States, regardless of who is in office. He also said that it's not political and he's not trying to tell anybody who they should vote for.
So what I tend to say is, yo, do your own homework and make your own decisions about it. But what I will say is that I respect the office. This isn't politics. The politics for me, it's over. He won. He's the president. He's the commander-in-chief of what I would like to say is the best country in the world. Are you a Trump supporter? Am I a Trump supporter? I support the office of, I support the president of the United States, regardless of who's in office.
Now, Snoop Dogg infamously doesn't think this way. He doesn't agree that even though he's the president, he should receive the same amount of respect as anybody else.
If you like that nigga, you motherfucking racist. F you and f him. Now what?
Alright.
Draw the line. He drew the lines.
Exactly.
He drew the lines. Before him, there were no lines. Everybody was everybody. We respected everything. We didn't trip. When you drew the line, you can start pointing motherfuckers out and saying, fuck y'all then.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You and them.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking
Kanye
about Donald
too. Don't forget about him too. You too.
So I see him coming out and saying that the only reason why he went to the event was because he wanted to support crypto. Because it probably doesn't look that good for him to be all of a sudden best friends with Donald Trump for no reason.
That's that crypto, see? They let a real crip up in the crypto ball. Bang, bang.
For a lot of these artists, having a platform is really just signing with what the public opinion wants, or what they think the public opinion wants to hear. And this is exactly what these rappers are doing. Everybody hated Trump back in 2016, so it was cool to hate Trump. And now that a lot of people are trying to switch vibes, they're like, okay, well now it's starting to become cool to rock with Trump. And I can relate this to a personal level, because I too was one of these kids who was walking around saying F Trump everywhere I went. For example, the first presidential debate happened at my university, and I was walking around saying F Donald Trump. I literally have a video of it still. F Donald Trump! And now I'm kind of like, damn, this is embarrassing. I don't agree with what I used to say. But what I do agree with is admitting when you're wrong or when your opinion changes. Because at the end of the day, we're not all gonna have the same opinion for the rest of our lives. We grow, our opinion changes, we see things go different, and you're like, you know what? I don't think that anymore. And admitting that is part of growth. Now, a lot of us aren't politicians, so there's no reason to blindly hate people. And in my personal opinion, I feel like that's something we've all unconsciously been doing for a while, especially if you're a minority like myself. You've probably looked at Trump at some point and correlated him with being a racist. It also doesn't help when we got people like Kanye West, who have been vocal supporters of Trump and even went out of their way to go meet Trump, come out and support him during a time where it looks like he's having a serious mental breakdown.
But I love this guy right here. Let me give this guy a hug right here. I love this guy right here.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Come here. That's really nice.